kitty. Oh, hey, you guys are early again. All right, let me finish teaching my cat some tricks and then we will talk Friday sews.
Hello Internet people, and welcome back to another edition of Friday Sews. Happy Friday, and thank you as always to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for starting this hashtag. So this week has been kind of an odd one, so I'm just going to talk you through it. So last time I saw you, it was Friday. Saturday, I decided to start work on the two projects that I talked about last week for the hashtag sewaprilblouse challenge and the hashtag sewtogether21 challenge. And if you remember from last week, I was going to do the Mccalls 7946 for the Sew April blouse and the peppermint pocket skirt for Sew Together 21. So I started with Mccalls 7946, and if you didn't see last week's video, I'm going to make view C and I'm turning it into a blouse. So I'm just going to chop it off at the waistline, and I'm making it out of this fabric here. So I went to start cutting it out and I didn't have enough fabric. I basically added 6 inches below the waistline to choose as my chopping off point for the blouse. I think that's like a little more than I will want, but I wanted to make sure I left enough just in case. So I chose to cut the front and the back out with 6 inches extra below the waistline. But then when I got to cutting out the sleeves, I didn't have enough fabric. So basically what I did was I decided to rotate the sleeves on the grain line and cut them out 90 degrees from the grain line, which I don't think is going to be too much of a problem because I don't think this floral print is that directional, but we'll see. So that was the beginning of the problems this week. Then I went to cut out the peppermint pocket skirt. If you're not familiar, it's this one here. And I'm going to use this fabric. And once again, I didn't have enough. I don't know what is with me, but I guess I'm just not thinking my projects through lately. So I actually measured it, and this fabric is from fabric.com, and it says it's 44 inches wide. And I measured it, and it's actually only 39 inches wide. So I think that's why I don't quite have enough. And I thought, oh, maybe it shrank. And maybe it did shrink, but I don't know, 5 inches? Can it really shrink crosswise 5 inches? I measured the length as well, and it's only 1 inch shorter. I ordered 2 yards, and it's only 1 inch short of 2 yards. So I guess maybe if it shrank, it only shrank 1 inch, but maybe it shrinks more on the crosswise. I don't know. Anyways, so I didn't have enough. So I was thinking and thinking and thinking about it, and I thought I have some black twill in my stash, and so I thought, what if I made these like side panels that go in like into the pocket in just a plain black with this, and then the rest of it in this fabric. So that was kind of my idea to salvage it, but I didn't really get around to actually cutting anything out. So as it stands, today is April 30th. I don't think I'm going to have time to finish either of these projects. Since they were both going to be for hashtags, the deadline is obviously the end of April. So I don't think I'm going to have enough time to actually finish them to meet the deadline. I'm still going to make the Mccalls 7946 because it is on my make 9 and I really want to make that. I don't think my heart's really in this peppermint pocket skirt. I don't really love the idea of the black on the sides, the contrasting fabric with this. So I think I might just kind of put that away and use this corduroy for something else. I had an original plan for it, and then I had a new plan for it, and now it's going to be going on to a third thing. So who knows what that's going to be, but it will be out. It'll be in my stash someday for the future. So that was Saturday. I did manage to cut out Mccalls 7946, so that's that. Sunday, we went to get our vaccine, our second COVID vaccine. So my sisters live kind of close to where we got our vaccine, so we visited with them in their backyard afterwards for a while, and I felt fine on Sunday, so it didn't really get anything done. We just watched TV and hung out once we got home. Monday, I had a fever all day and definitely had some joint pain and muscle aches. It wasn't too bad, but I just took the day off and rested and relaxed and caught up on everybody's Friday sews on Monday. So I didn't really get anything done Monday. Tuesday, I was working on the Nico top video that I put out this week, just kind of a relaxing, watch me sew, inspiring video. So if you haven't watched that, check it out. It's really short. So I did that on Tuesday. Tuesday night, Hulu released the first 3 episodes of Handmaid's Tale. So of course I had to binge watch all of those. That show is so scary. So I binge watched all of the first 3 episodes of Handmaid's Tale on Tuesday night, didn't get anything done. Wednesday, I was finishing that Nico top video and then doing some other work. And then last night I went up to work on something, either the tension that I was talking about last week or the Mccalls 7946. So I decided to work on Mccalls 7946 and I went to go serge the edges of all the pieces, and guess what? I was having serger tension issues this week. It's not enough to have my vintage 99K tension issues, but then I got to have serger tension issues. And I think it was mainly because this fabric is so thin. I just was having kind of struggles adjusting it to have the tension right on such a thin fabric. Since the last few times I've used my serger, I've really just been using knits. It's kind of new to me to use a serger on a very lightweight, thin cotton woven. So I was messing around with that forever, and I realized I didn't have the stitch finger in the serger. I had taken it out because back in the end of February, I took a serger class, and for one of the stitches that they taught us, we took the stitch finger out, and I never put it back in. So I've been sewing with my serger for the toaster sweater, that Vogue 9330 I made, and what was the other one? There was like a third thing that I made. Oh my gosh, my mind is totally blanking. Whatever else I made with that thing since February. I've been sewing without the stitch finger, but the stitches look fine. I don't understand how that works. Maybe it's because maybe it's because the knits were sturdy enough that it didn't need the stitch finger to hold the stitches up. Is that how it works? I don't even know. It's a mystery to me. I don't fully understand serger mechanics yet, so I can't really explain how I was able to get actually really nice looking stitches on all of my projects without a stitch finger. But anyways, so what was happening was it was actually rolling. Instead of just finishing off the edges, it was making a rolled hem. And I couldn't figure out why I was making the rolled hem. Why was it making the rolled hem? And then I realized there's no stitch finger, so it's rolling the hem on this very lightweight woven. Anyways, so I put the stitch finger back in. I adjusted the tension dials and it worked. I was able to serge the edges of all of the pieces for the Mccalls 7946. Haven't started actually sewing it. That will be for another day. Also, while I was actually just kind of tidying up my workspace, I was putting aside the vintage, there's a bird outside. I'm like looking out the sliding glass door and there's this little bird that's taking some jute twine off of my tomato trellis that I had from last year. He's like picking it all off for his little nest. It's so cute. Anyways, okay, so yeah, I was moving the Singer 99K to the side because I figure I'll deal with the tension issues later. And I was cleaning up all of the random things on my table and I noticed I had my ballpoint needles out, and I remember switching one of the needles in the 99K when I was working on the tension issue, and I realized I put a ballpoint needle in it. I was using a ballpoint needle in the Singer 99K on that muslin and trying to figure out why I was having tension issues. Why were there dots there? Well, I think that might be part of the problem. I switched it to a regular needle and tried again, and I'm still having tension issues, but the dots are smaller. So I think that was the problem. Oh, so dumb. I got really great comments last week on my video about the tension issues and talking about hemming knits, and I thought I would summarize them for you here. Thank you so much for everybody who you know, left me a comment with something else to try or something that they thought that has helped them in the past when it came to tension issues. Everybody's so helpful. You guys are the best. So I thought I actually went through all the comments and I made a list of all of the suggestions that I got for working on tension. So if you don't have tension issues, you can probably just skip forward a little bit, but make sure to leave me a comment and tell me what machine you use that you don't get tension issues on, because at this point I kind of just want to buy a whole new machine that will not ever give me tension issues, if that's even possible. So let me actually pull up my list here. So let me read them to you now. I have my computer over here. So first thing you do, start over. Take out the thread, take out the bobbin, then clean and oil your machine. And you can use dental floss between the tension discs to make sure there's no fuzz in them. Check the needle, make sure it's the correct size for the fabric, and also you can just change the needle, because even if it's new, maybe there's like something wrong with it, maybe it's defective, maybe you just need a new needle. So just get a new needle. Make sure the bobbin is wound properly, like make sure it's not too loose. Make sure your machine is threaded correctly. What you can also do is loosen your tension all the way and then gradually increase it and test as you go until the stitches don't break and there's no loops underneath. Also check your foot pressure, because that can affect your stitch quality as well and your tension. For these older machines, you can also just replace the tension discs completely. Also try a different bobbin and thread altogether. Two main concepts. Basically, the loops on the top mean there's bobbin issues. The loops on the bottom means there is top thread tension issues. And you can also pull the seam apart a little bit and see if the threads are meeting in between the layers when you're testing the tension. Because when the tension is balanced, the top and bottom thread should be meeting in between the two layers of fabric. So those were all of the suggestions that I got. I haven't been up there to test them out really. The only thing I've done was notice that I put the wrong freaking needle in my machine, switched it and tried it out, still had some issues, but it looks a little better. So still working with the tension issues, to be continued. Also on last week's video, I had a lot of good comments about how to hem knits. So if you're interested in all of the different ways that people mentioned about how they like to hem knits, I compiled that list as well. I will tell you that. It seems like popular options include using knit interfacing or some kind of stabilizer, makes sense. Just putting in hem bands instead, using a walking foot, serging the edges before hemming, using a fusible knit stay tape like Sew Keezy or Stitch Witchery, and I'm not sure if that's the same as stabilizing. I don't think it is. Making sure not to use too much pressing or steam. I had one comment saying that they actually use decorative embroidery stitching to hem their knits. Also a cover stitch, it's classic. Made by Ray had a hemming tutorial, and the last stitch also put out a master hemming knits on a sewing machine video. So I'll put links to those down below. So that's the scoop on hemming knits if you're curious. Okay, so that was, let's see, where did I leave us off? That was Wednesday night. I was working on that stuff. Today I'm filming this on Thursday. So that's it, that's my week. That's all I've done. All I've done this week is finish the edges of that top with the serger and realize I put a ballpoint machine needle into my Singer 99K. So that was basically my whole week, and I'm not gonna be too hard on myself for not meeting the deadlines for the challenges, but I am gonna finish that top hopefully this coming week, and we're gonna step aside from the peppermint pocket skirt and move on to other spring sewing plans, which maybe I'll talk about next week. Let's see, the one other thing I was going to talk about this week is with the end of the month and with the beginning of May comes Me Made May. So I have never participated in Me Made May before. I haven't ever really had enough to wear in the month of May. That's me made. to really participate, but this year I have made a lot of clothes for myself, and so I am going to participate. And so the great thing about Me Made May is you can set your own parameters for how you want to do the month and structure the month. And so this is what I've decided for myself. I decided to pull out all of the clothes that I've made for myself in the past, except for a few novelty things that I made or costumes, but just like all the basic clothes that I've made for myself. And I'm going to try to wear all of them at some point during the month of May. Actually, let's go on a field trip this week. Okay, this week's field trip, I'm going to take you to my closet to show you all of the clothes that I've made for myself so far in my sewing journey. Okay, welcome to the closet. I've gone through and I pulled out all of the clothes that I've made for myself, and that is starting here through here. So just this section. I counted them up. There's 19 pieces. So I've made 19 pieces for myself, which actually isn't that many. I feel like since I've been sewing for like 7 years. But at the beginning, I sewed mostly costumes or like novelty things, or I sewed a lot of stuff for other people. And it's not really till the last year or so that I've actually sewn a lot for myself. So these are the pieces, the 19 things I've made for myself. And my plan for Me Made May is to wear all of them at least once and kind of take myself on a journey through my sewing journey from the beginning to the end. I probably won't wear them in order, obviously, from oldest to newest, but so I think it'll be really fun to wear everything that I've made and compare some of the older stuff to the newer stuff and just see how I've improved with my sewing skills, and also just think about my wardrobe and what I like to wear and what I don't like to wear. It'll be kind of interesting because some of this, actually a lot of my stuff is kind of wintry. I have a lot of sweaters, long sleeve. This you might remember from Christmas. It's a very Christmassy dress, so I don't know if I'll really wear it, and I'm not really leaving the house anyways, so it'll pretty much just be house clothes, but it'll be interesting to wear them all, especially some of the older stuff. I think the oldest thing that I've made here is this top. Let me pull it out so you can see it better. So I made this top probably back in 16. I think 2016, and I was definitely in a more of a hipster phase in my life, and it has elk and deer on it. It's a button up. I think it's a butterick pattern. I think it's too small for me now, but I'm gonna at least put it on this month and take a picture in it, and you know, just remember that time in my life. So here's your sneak peek of Me Made May coming up. And I think I'm going to take pictures and put them on Instagram, but I think I'm also going to try to make some sort of video or something maybe on YouTube about it as well. I'm going to find some way to incorporate Me Made May on YouTube as well. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that field trip to my closet. It wasn't that interesting. There's not much to see there, but anyway, so that's my plan for Me Made May. Are you going to participate in Me Made May? I will leave a link to the creator of Me Made May, Sozo blog. She has a whole post about it, so if you're interested in participating, you can take a look at that and come up with your own parameters and your own pledge for Me Made May. So I'm really curious to know if you're going to be participating here on YouTube or on Instagram. Let me know in the comments below. So I think that's all I really have for you guys today. Not much to show you, not much sewing got done this week, but I'm gonna keep chugging along with this Mccalls 7946. I'm gonna try to work on that tension at some point this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys leaving me comments and chatting with you guys and getting to know you all. It's really fun. It's really fun to be here. And so thank you so much for watching. Happy sewing. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys soon.